Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. This is our second of 3 shows tonight, and you are watching Wagers with Friends, and we are going to have a fun little competition in just 1 minute. That's right. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Fanspeak Network. And Friday means Wagers with Friends. And I had a blast with Sia last week. I just slightly lost, so I was the one making the donation. But this week, I am looking to bounce back, and I am very excited to have David from the HulkBets. So be sure to check him out at the HulkBets on Twitter. David, how are you doing tonight? You ready to get down, do a little competition, and then gambling for good?
Yeah, thanks, Megan, for having me. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I am a degenerate gambler and even a bigger competitor, so I'm ready for this. This is a perfect kind of platform for me.
That's a perfect combination, We're degens, competitive, but also, we like to give back. So, it's a good mix. Let me just say hi to folks in the chat. We were getting, I'm sure Bruni's in there saying, let's fly. We got Mike Robb. No matching shirts tonight, Mike. So I'm sorry, but I'm super excited to have David on. Again, check him out at the HulkBets. He cleaned up week 1. We cleaned up week 1. We had a great week 1. So hopefully you listen to both of us. And actually, the Wagers with Friends cleaned up week 1. So David, we have a high standard to live up to. Sia, who my guest last week, was 3-0-1, and I was 3-1. So we were my math's not 4-1-1. No, 5-1-1. No, there's 8 bets total. The math is just,
it sounds like you were 6-1-1, which is impressive in any kind of market. In this economy.
Thank you for the math help on that one, the assist on that one. We were 6-1-1. So you and I have a high standard to live up to, because not just will you be able to watch this, but I want to remind you that we do have a Dub Club. All of the sides and totals are free on fanspeak.com. But if you check out the betting card, you can get the link to the Dub Club, and that as a 7-day free trial. So check it out. These bets will be in there. So makes it easy for you guys. But these bets will be in here. The Dub Club emails, there'll be several emails tomorrow for the Sunday slate. And Andrew and Justin's bets that are going to be on at 9:30 here in a little over 20 minutes. They will be on with DGen Dads and their best bets for week 2. That'll be in Dub Club as well. So that's all coming. So check that out. Of course, if you're coming in here, please like and subscribe. We certainly appreciate it. Before, David, I get to which charities we're playing for, and of course, getting into our best bets, which is, of course, the exciting meat of this program, I have to share, each week we are doing a Fanspeak touchdown treasure chest. And I know you've been crushing with touchdowns. We are definitely up units and up, have a lot of positive ROI on touchdowns. I was able to get 2 touchdown parlays, which was always fun because we all know parlays are tough, but I got one on Thursday night, week 1, and Sunday night football on week 1. So that was really, really fun, because those are just, David, our touchdown sweat's not the most fun bets.
They're the best. They're the home runs of NFL, and except we don't get as good of payouts with them, but they are definitely the best thing, and also the most stressful, especially when the team gets down inside the red zone. You're just like, come on, give them the ball. And I find myself saying that far too much than I'd like to admit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's just, I absolutely, of all the bets, and I love alts, I love touchdowns, I love the parlays, but touchdown bets are by far my favorite. So yeah, absolutely. Got to say hi to folks in chat. So we have Razor Sharp Picks in here. So what's up, ladies and gents? And Slap Slocks, John Slap. Absolutely love following Slap. If you're not following him, you're missing out. One of the best entertainers, I think, in the sports betting space, but also absolutely crushes it literally with his bets. He's got a great Dub Club. I follow his Dub Club, and he does absolutely super fun lottos. He does for baseball and absolutely, of course, for NFL. So love seeing Slop in here. So now let's talk, Dave. Well, actually, no, sorry. I need to show the touchdown bet. So I started talking about touchdowns and I got so wound up that I didn't get it all the way home. So we are doing a touchdown treasure chest every single week. And we were 2 and 4 last week. So we each, the Fanspeak team picked 6 touchdowns. We were 2 and 4. And this week we decided, you know what? There was only 35 passing touchdowns in week 1. And 4 of them were on the account of Washington. So do love Malik Neighbors. That's a hint, Malik Neighbors to everybody. But, let's adjust to what's going on in the NFL. So we hit the running back touchdowns hard, and we did a little 2 touchdown action. So I'm going to bring over what we are looking at this week. And so our 2 touchdown treasure chest. Now, this is only 2 for Henry and Pacheco. So what you've got here are 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry, perfect game script. 2 touchdowns for Pacheco, perfect game script and perfect matchup. We know you can run on the Bengals. And then 1 touchdown Najee Harris, 1 touchdown J.K. Dobbins. You get $10 bet will get you $15.62. So we will be sharing this on Twitter tomorrow. It will be in the Dub Club that we send out as well. But I had to share the cool graphic that Bruni made. So shout out to that. And again, be sure to tune into their show at 9:30 right after this show. But I mean, David, I have to ask you, what do you think about since you're the touchdown master yourself, you love touchdown. I'd like to say I'm touchdown queen. I don't know if you call yourself touchdown king, but what do you think of these anytime/2 TUD bets?
Yeah, I think they're really solid. 2 of your players in there may or may not be people I was planning on mentioning tonight. So maybe I'll throw in like an extra one in there. But yeah.
Oh, you can mention them. You can mention them. I mean, hey,
I'll talk about them. I got the notes written up. So
I was going to say, that just gives me more good vibes if we are on the same thing. If we're on the same players, if we're on the same anytime or 2 touchdowns, if we're on the same thing, that makes me even happier. So I'll pull us back over. And first, if you want to tell me, so again, last week, Sia edged me out. Again, we were 6-1-1. He edged me out. And so I made a donation to Rachel's Bears, which is an amazing charity. Check it out. David and I will each be playing for a charity tonight. David, which charity are you playing for?
So I am going to be playing for the Golisano Children's Hospital. That's local to where I live. It's U of R medicine. They do great work with kids with all sorts of illnesses and cancers and disease. And it's something that Tom Golisano is kind of like, he's a local hero, but he's kind of US or, known nationwide for his charity work. And now I think he lives down in Florida and everything, just as most of the successful people do when they get a little bit older. But he started this incredible organization, and his fingerprints are all over our town and our city and stuff. And this is something that's very important to me. And I think it's a great cause. And, love kids and anybody that's going through something with your child in this kind of situation, I think deserves any and all the love and support that they can give. So that is who I am playing for tonight.
Absolutely. Do you happen to have the website handy that I can put in chat?
It looks like if you it's urmc.rochester.edu. So it's kind of like a long one. I don't know if it's easier just to type in Golisano. You want me to put it in chat too?
Yeah, if you don't mind putting it in chat.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, I'm talking about my charity. And again, we have Razor Sharp Picks just gave us both a follow. Thank you very much. So obviously the anniversary of 9/11, very somber this week. And it is a moment to take a step back and truly never forget. And I saw some charity on Twitter that kind of moved me, and it is called Tunnel to Towers Foundation. So at Tunnel to Towers, I'll put the website in the chat as well. But it's basically giving back to America's first responders and military heroes. You can do like $11 a month, but you can also just make a donation. So just in the wake of the 9/11 anniversary, it just kind of moved me when I saw this charity that I'll probably likely be playing for a different charity each week. And so I wanted to play for Tunnel to Towers Foundation. So I will put that in chat as well. So let me grab that link.
So it wouldn't let me post the direct link, but I did put the name in it. And if anybody just searches that name, like copies and pastes it, it should pull right up for them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you for putting that in chat. And I put the link in chat. And then what I will do is, I did this last week. On Saturday, tomorrow, I will be posting an article on fanspeak.com. Will be right on the homepage. It'll tell the charities that are playing for. It'll list our bets. And again, this will be in Dub Club email that goes out as well. So it'll all be there. And then, of course, David, I'll do a recap Monday of how we did, the wins, the losses, hopefully mostly wins.
Hopefully.
And then who wins based on, the odds we're grabbing and stuff like that. So that's how this will work. We're going to now go back and forth, bet for bet for each. And again, if we're betting the same amount, who wins, we will find out Monday. But again, I will post all that on fanspeak.com in an article on Dub Club. And then I will definitely post our charities on Twitter tonight or tomorrow as well in a tweet. So check that out. We got Andrew in chat. Good to see you. All right, David, it's time. You're my guest. I will let you go first. What is your best bet for week 2?
All right, I'm going to start right at the top of my list here with a guy that was in the treasure chest, J.K. Dobbins, anytime touchdown.
Yes.
I like J.K. for a lot of reasons this week, but I like him most of all because when I got the odds, it was a plus 160 on FanDuel. Now, I expect that probably to settle down maybe at a plus 140 or 150. There's always a little risk with J.K., only because, one, injury history, and two, because the Gus bus is there. Gus Edwards is a bigger guy. He's a bigger back there, so he could always steal the goal line work. And he actually out-touched J.K. 11-10 in week 1. However, J.K. clearly was the better back, and I think that J.K. I trust Harbaugh and his eye for talent. I think that he shifts the touches around a little bit in this game, and I also think there's just more touches to go around in this game this week against the Panthers. Panthers' run defense didn't look bad last week. I mean, in a game that they got absolutely obliterated, they still were 100. They gave up 122 yards against the run, but only 170 yards against the pass. So I think that's also more of a reason why you see the run game take off. And give me a guy that can break off a long run at any given time, even though he had a long run last week and kind of got caught at the 5-yard line. If he was 5 yards closer to the end zone, that's a touchdown. So give me J.K. Dobbins, especially at those odds against the Panthers in a game that they should not only win, but be trailing from start to, or be ahead from start to finish, hopefully.
Right. And obviously we liked it. It was in the touchdown treasure chest. So that makes me like it even more. So I'm super pumped about this one. I like it. Again, yes, I want to win, but I want all our bets to win.
Sure.
So I absolutely love that one. I'm going to go for my first bet. I love the touchdown market. I will have probably one or two of those, but I'm going to go. I also love the alt market. And, with a guy like Derrick Henry, he's going to be game script dependent. Well, he has always been kind of game script dependent, but especially I think this year in Baltimore last week, he kind of couldn't get there as far as his props and all prop. He got the one touchdown, but as far as getting there, as far as his all props and exceeding them, you really need the right game script. He's got the right game script. He's a home favorite by a lot of points, and I like him to score a touchdown or two, obviously 2, because we have him in the touchdown treasure chest for 2, but I like him to get his 80 plus alt, and you get plus 110 on FanDuel Sportsbook on that. So, or excuse me, plus 112. So I'm writing down the numbers to make sure, because this will be important come Monday. So 80 plus rushing yards for Derrick Henry, plus 112. I see this as a 100 plus big dog game, 1 to 2 touchdowns. I think it's the perfect game script and matchup for him. So I'm all over the big dog this week.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry's carries were set at like 17.5. Which he only ended up with 13 in week 1. But I think his 17.5 line is interesting too. And you could even do something like over 17.5 rushes and then parlay it with that 80 plus or something like that too. And probably get a pretty solid like plus 210 or something. So I'm going to, if it's all right with you, pivot just directly off of that. Cause my second play, no joke, was Derrick Henry. I like his touchdown. I got to play his touchdown. I will probably sprinkle his 2+ touchdowns, because I do think this is a week that he has a good shot of getting it. But a nice simple one, and it's not as beautiful odds that you got. It's a minus 135 right now, but it is Derrick Henry touchdown and the Ravens money line. So we talked before the show a little bit that, I'm not a big money line person, but I think the money line this week for the Ravens is the perfect juice cutter, coming back at home, angry after week 1, losing again to the Chiefs. They come home. They get the Raiders. They should pummel the Raiders at home. And like you said, the game script should be perfect for Derrick Henry to run wild the whole game. And especially if he gets inside the 10-yard line with his team, they're going to just feed him, maybe even 3 straight carries. And I don't think that the Raiders stop him 2 or 3 straight times. So I like his 1 touchdown, and I'm definitely interested in his 2 touchdowns as well.
Ooh, this is great. We are in lockstep here on the touchdown treasure chest. So I'm feeling really good here, David.
The Raiders got gashed last week. I forgot probably the most important stat, or maybe they're important too. 7.67 yards per carry in week 1 and gave up 161 yards on 21 attempts. So they got absolutely obliterated in week 1 too. So this is prime Derrick Henry spot to go. Like you said, you could even look at the 100+ for Derrick Henry, because if he's going to get it, this is one of the weeks he would get it.
Oh, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a lot of ladders with there will be ladders with Derrick Henry on our Dub Club that we send out tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, because I like 80, but I certainly am willing to go up to 100. And actually on Dub Club, I just posted our week 1 recap, and I will post our week 1 recap on Twitter. But it's fun when you do those ladders. That can really help your ROI. And we hit multiple of them, several of them last week, and that was a ton of fun. Because it's so exciting. If you're in on a guy, you want to kind of go all in on a guy, and certain props lend themselves to that, especially a guy like Derrick Henry. There will be games where he just gets right over his prop, but there will be games where he nearly doubles his prop.
That's what I did with Saquon Barkley week 1. I kind of did like a unique ladder, or unique for me at least. I did the first team touchdown with Saquon. I did anytime touchdown because that felt too easy. And then the 2+ touchdowns as well. So I had like a little ladder with him. And I wish I had played the 3+. Had I known that he was going to go 3+, I wish I played that. That's as far as I went with it. But shame on me for not going all the way with the 3+.
I know you feel wild doing the 2+ touchdowns, but think about what's happened so far. In the first game, we had Worthy, and the second game, we had Derrick Henry for 3. Last night, we had James Cook for 3. Mike Evans had 2 on Sunday. There was probably some other multiple touchdowns that I'm not thinking of, but it happens more than people think. If a guy's set for a great matchup, and they're either feeding him on the ground or feeding him through the air, it just you might as well go all in and ladder it. So kind of getting that initial line will help cover you taking shots to go
absolutely
for it. So I absolutely love that. So last week, so my second one, and by the way, I love that bet. Obviously, we're both locked in on Henry. So my second one is a guy that I did last week. I don't believe it was on this show. I believe I did Mike Evans on this show, and he came up just short of his alt. He got obviously 2 touchdowns, but my theme this year is going to be, I'm a Washington fan. You can see some shirts behind me, an old Kirk Cousins shirt. So I'm unfortunately a Washington fan. I have the right color shirt on today. It's a rough life to live. It's made me a very resilient person, but I gotta pay, I am suffering through the pain of being a Washington fan. I might as well get paid off for it, right, David?
Sure. Absolutely.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, who's Washington playing? Do they have a good quarterback and receiver? The answer this week to quarterback is no, but to receiver, yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to play that person receiver, quarterback. And so I know I started on the Baker Mayfield, and I'll go back to him actually, but I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors, 70+ receiving yards, plus 102. He was on the injury report. He's off the injury report, and it looks like he's good to go. So with that said, he got a bunch of targets last week. He looked good against a tough Vikings defense. The Washington defense is not a tough defense. So I was going to go to Baker next. I will probably likely get there on this list, but as I was getting so worked up about my terrible Washington Commanders and their horrid, historically bad secondary, I had to just go to Malik Neighbors, 70+, plus 102. Basically, a theme is I'm always going to have whoever Washington is playing and a quarterback or receiver in my list here every Friday. So you can pretty much mark that down.
Well, you're setting yourself up for a win-win in theory, because either Washington wins and maybe Malik didn't do very well, so you lose the bet, but your team wins, or, Malik tears it up. If he tears it up, Washington might lose, and then at least you got to win on the other side. So I like it. I like the strategy.
Exactly. It's like paying off my pain. I know I'm likely going to be in pain as a fan, so I might as well get paid off for it. So, and by the way, that worked last week. I did a bunch of different ladders. I didn't get there, like I said, on the Mike Evans yards, but I got there on Baker yards. I got there on Evans touchdowns. I got there on some kind of mini parlays with them. So got there in a lot of ways with the Bucks. I play on Underdog, and so I did some drafts with Evans and Baker. And even Godwin too. I mean, he got there too. So yeah, I definitely paid off my pain last week, and I'm looking to do that with Neighbors this week. Can't quite trust going to any Daniel Jones props, but I feel comfortable with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I'm hoping Daniel Jones can turn it around just for the sake of himself. I just feel bad for the guy. I don't think he's as bad as he's playing, but maybe he really is. I don't know. We'll see. This week will be a better week. We'll really get a true test of, does he have anything left, I think, this week against Washington. So we'll see.
Exactly.
All right.
So bet number 3. What do you have for me?
All right. Well, listen, we're working off each other pretty well because you've talked about alt lines, and my third one is a parlay, including an alt line. So my third one is Cooper Kupp over 7.5 receptions and 70+ yards at a -120 or -110. I'm sorry. I want to tack on the touchdown, and I probably will get there, but for the sake of this show, I will not yet. So it's a -110 with just the over 7.5 receptions, 70+ alt line for receiving yardage. No Puka Nacua. I really could end the entire thing with just that. Like without Puka, last week, Cooper Kupp had either 20 or 21 targets, and he caught 14 of them. We've seen this story before with no Puka Nacua and what Cooper Kupp is like in this offense. In a close game, probably, potentially, with the Cardinals, that should be relatively fast-paced, and they might get some more opportunities to get the ball if they get some turnovers and stuff. I mean, I just love Cooper Kupp's receptions. It's a little juiced at a -140 now, so I need to parlay it with something, and why not do the correlative stack with his 70+? Because if he gets eight receptions, he's probably almost certainly getting 70+ yards. You probably could even get more gutsy than I did and go, 90+ or 100+. And I may do that a little bit, but for the official play, I'll just play it safe and go with 70+, take my win and go home.
I love it. I'm all over Kupp everything this week. So, because the one thing you can say about the Rams, just these brilliant offensive coordinators, usually the guys that come from the Shanahan tree, is that they use motion. They get their guys open. I can't say the same for Cliff Kingsbury. Very frustrated about that you can't get Terry McLaurin open. But we'll save that therapy for another time. But a smart guy like Sean McVay will find a way to get Cooper Kupp open. They will use motion. They will find a way. They did it last week. They'll do it again. So I absolutely am all over Kupp everything and love that bet. So I'm going to go to my third, and I kind of teased it when I then jumped to Neighbors. But basically, again, I'm always going to have whoever's playing Washington. This week it's Neighbors. Last week it was Evans. Well, last week Baker was also on our list, and he got there. And I think he's going to get there again. So you do not want to run against the Lions. They are a tough run defense, and basically both Bucks Lions you would kind of, it's more of a pass funnel. So I want to target this game through the air, and that goes for honestly both sides, but especially the Bucs side. I don't think they're going to want to run Rashad White against the Lions defensive line. So I think they're going to attack it through the air. I also think they could be likely playing from a negative game script. So all week I've said that I like Baker and going back to him this week in all formats, whether you're doing drafts on Underdog or DFS or bets. And so I like Baker Mayfield 275+ passing plus 148. So, and I'm willing to ladder that one. We saw this matchup in the divisional round of the playoffs in the Dome, and Baker had 349 yards. Now I know it's a different season, but we're still working with some very similar pieces, and Godwin's healthier too. So 349 yards last year in the playoffs. Yeah, give me 275 in a likely negative game script.
Yeah, absolutely. I love slot Chris Godwin, and they've got slot Chris Godwin. He looked great last week. Mike Evans is still the 1,000-yard guy, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown a week guy that we thought he was. Dave Canales leaves. It doesn't really change their offense too much. They look great. Baker still looks great. And not to mention Jalen McMillan, I think, dropped a wide open touchdown in this game too that he would have scored a touchdown on. So he definitely left some yards on the table here. And I'm going to have to look at this offense more because I think it's an offense, like you said, like most of the season probably, unless they're in a really tough matchup. This is going to be an offense that moves the ball through the air, and they've got a ton of weapons. And Chris Godwin, little sneak preview, Chris Godwin's reception prop at 5.5 at plus odds to the over is kind of interesting this week too. So yeah, I think that's a great play. I think that's a great play that you found there.
Because you said, using him in that slot role. And this is, I believe his name's Liam Cohen that came over from the Rams. We saw, how the Rams used Cooper Kupp. And then we saw how the Rams used Cooper Kupp in the slot role against these very Lions last week. So let's run that back with Godwin this week. So I do really like the Godwin receptions. I think that's a great call out. I really just love the passing game. I might just build a really nice same game parlay for this game. In fact, I mentioned it on our prop party show. You can check that out. That was yesterday. So yeah, that's 3 each. Let's go to our last bets. David, what do you got for number 4?
All right. So if you've noticed the background, Kobe Bryant aside being the focal point of it, there is some Colts stuff here, and I'm working on getting more. So we're going to go to the Colts. And if you've watched my videos before, if anybody's familiar, I love Anthony Richardson touchdowns. However, I am not going with an AR touchdown for this play, for this show. I'm actually going to pivot, go to his backfield mate and Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown at a plus 115. JT scored last week. He could have scored 2, but AR wanted to be a beast and RPO'd the ball, pulled it back in, ran over a defender to get into the end zone at the very end of the game, and got himself a touchdown, which was great for our bets last week. However, I think they can both eat. I think they can both get a touchdown in this game, but I'm going to play the Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown at a plus 115 right now. And I just think that they don't need Anthony Richardson to crush his body or put it on the line this week. I think it's a relatively kind of maybe close-ish game just because Green Bay is a talented roster. I think there's no way Love plays. Personally, that's my take here.
No chance. Chance.
Well, at first they're like 3 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. Then they're like, he's questionable and day to day. And I'm like, you have this quarterback sign this massive deal, and then you're going to have him injure his knee and then come out a week later in week 2 of the NFL season. I find that hard to believe. I think they're okay with losing a game or two to, big picture, keep their quarterback healthy, come back in, get a run going and stuff. So I think the Colts ultimately win this game as well. So I'm fine with a JT Colts money line parlay there too, but you don't even really need it at the plus odds. Just take the Jonathan Taylor touchdown. And I think he's going to get a lot of touches and do really well in this game.
I love that. I think that's great. And we've been having synergy through this whole show of we're on the same guys, we're on the same teams, we're on the same bets, something along those lines. Yeah. On our prop party show yesterday, I believe it was Tyler that mentioned it, so I won't try to take credit for it, but he mentioned that was one of his favorite anytime touchdowns. So love it. Love when I see other smart people on similar bets that I like. So it feels good. Good.
Absolutely.
So Jonathan Taylor, plus 115 anytime touchdown is your 4th and final bet. So I'll go quickly to my 4th and final bet because I know the guys are jumping on their betting show. DGen Dads, a new name for the show, is premiering here in just a couple minutes right after this show. Andrew and Justin, so stay and check that out on the Fanspeak Network. So I'm going to stick in the touchdowns. I love touchdowns, and so far I've gone 3 props. I'm going to go. He hurt me bad because I had 2 out of 3 anytime touchdowns on Monday night. I had Breece Hall. I had Deebo Samuel. And I had Garrett Wilson on the list. I parlayed them together, and I just missed by 1. Of course, I got the individual bets for Breece Hall, Deebo Samuel, great, but I wanted that parlay. He had a shot at the end, even in garbage time, still didn't get there. They've got to get Garrett. This is a bounce back spot for the Jets. Titans are still a bit of a pass funnel. You don't want to run against the Titans either. So as much as I love Breece Hall, he can be used as a Swiss Army knife in any possible way. So I think his rush receiving is, an interesting play, or his touchdown, totally fine. But Garrett Wilson, they got to get, he and Aaron Rodgers got to get on the same page, got to get him in the box. I think Garrett Wilson has a bounce back game. I think the Jets have a bounce back game. And Garrett Wilson, you're getting plus 145 for Garrett Wilson to get in the end zone this week. So that is my 4th and final bet. What do you think about that one before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great odds. Division games are always tough, but I totally think that there's no way the Jets lose this game, right? There's no way. They got to
bounce back here.
There's no way that at home opener, Rodgers, their crowd's going to be into it. That defense is phenomenal still. Much easier matchup against the Patriots this week. I mean, I love the idea of even taking your Garrett Wilson bet. And again, not a big money line guy, but man, some of these spots look so sweet and easy this week that a Garrett Wilson touchdown, Jets money line thing, just to give yourself a little bit of a boost seems totally fine. But yeah, Garrett Wilson at plus odds is great. I too was hurt by Garrett Wilson in week 1.
Okay.
And I honestly, I don't even know if I saw the last opportunity he had because I might have gone to sleep. I got to pick a night every so often to go to sleep
Yeah.
and not watch these late night games. But I know for a fact I was watching in the first quarter when he got tackled at the 2-yard line when they put that little screen pass out to him. And I think ultimately we might have gotten a Brees Hall touchdown on that drive, which is fine.
Yes.
But I think it would have been easier to get Brees later and not Garrett out early. And ultimately, we didn't get it, like you said, but a great bounce back spot for Garrett Wilson. And yeah, I mean, he's got to feed him, right? Like Rodgers got to feed Wilson in the red
they got to
zone.
get right quick, and
Exactly.
they got to get right quick here. So
I like it.
Yeah, no, I like it. So again, all these plays will be up on fanspeak.com tomorrow. I will tweet out tonight or tomorrow the charities we're playing for, all these plays, and the charities we're playing for will be up on fanspeak.com in our Dub Club emails. So check those all out at all those various places. This was so fun, David. We need to get going so Andrew and Justin can get going. But any final thoughts for the people for week 2?
Whew. You know what? It's just good to have football back. That's all I'll say.
My
It's
God,
good to have football back. The MLB season's a grind. I'm just so thankful to have that behind us and to be able to look forward to meaningful football for the next couple of months of the season. So thanks for having me on, Megan.
Let's just say it. 6 months, 6 months. Let's just say it.
It just goes by so fast. It goes by so fast, but I'm excited.
It does. That's why we need to enjoy each and every week because non-football season stinks.
That's
football season
Cherish
is
it.
amazing. Cherish it. So hopefully we have a good week 2. Hopefully we have a great card here to compete against each other. And I can't wait to give a recap on Monday. So this has been a ton of fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button on the way out. So for David, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.